My name is Lulu, and you're currently watching the first video that I will ever make for this channel. I do apologize beforehand for the sound quality. I know that there's this really annoying kind of staticky sound in the background. I haven't gotten a microphone yet. I will be getting one soon. But today I'm going to teach you how to properly make a saline solution to clean your piercing. I have a belly button ring, but the saline solution that we'll be making today can be used for any piercings on your body. Now, a first word of warning: if your belly button piercing is infected, and that is the reason you looked at this type of video, make sure that you do not, and I repeat this because it is super duper important, do not take out your piercing. I know some of you want to. I know that some of you already have. Please put it back on. And I know that some of you think that you should take it out, but you really should not. And the reason is that if you take out your ring, as silly as this may sound to some of you, the piercing may close up much faster than you anticipated, trapping the infection inside of your body. That means that you'll have an abscess, which may have to be taken out through surgery, which is not very fun. So let's keep that sucker in, okay? Now, the good news is that if you take good care to keep your belly button clean, you shouldn't have a problem with getting it healed, even if it's already infected. Now, for tips on how to keep your ring clean, check out my next video, which I'll be posting here within the next week or so, on how to keep a belly button piercing clean. I'll have lots of tips and tricks, and just little things that you can do in everyday life to make sure that it's clean. If you have a belly button ring and you don't know this, they're very care intensive. In addition to taking longer to heal than many other piercings, they get infected a lot easier than other rings do, and they can even get infected if you don't keep them clean after they've already healed. Now, obviously that's true of any piercing, but it's pretty rare. Belly button rings can get infected a lot more commonly than any other rings after they've healed. So I've had my ears pierced since I was 2 months old. I have a boyfriend who has multiple nose piercings and lip rings, and he has never had an infection after they've healed. But I have plenty of friends who have belly button rings, and they can sometimes they have had them infected even after they have healed. So make sure that you keep them clean, you take good care of it. Now let's go ahead and talk about the saline solution. Now, you want to make sure that you use sea salt that is not iodized. Now, the reason that we use non-iodized salt is to keep the piercing from drying out, and because table salt has lots of additives that can work against healing. So also remember to stay away from coarse salt, because you want a type of salt that can dissolve in the warm water, which is why we're using the sea salt. So remember to also measure out how much you put in, because too much salt is not good. It can irritate your piercing. We're trying to go for a saline solution that can imitate the human body. So we're keeping it at a ratio of a 1/4 teaspoon per 8 ounces of water. That's teaspoon, not tablespoon. So we're also going to make sure to use water that's clean. A lot of people use bottled water. That's fine. I usually tend to go for distilled water, mainly because it's a lot cleaner than bottled water. Distilled water is what you use in a science experiment when you want to make sure that there's nothing else in the water to, mess up your readings, so that you don't have any other variables that you're not accounting for. So you want to go for distilled water if you can. I did use bottled water before I switched to distilled, which is where I got the empty bottle from. And I make sure to clean the bottle out before I reuse it, so that there's not any salt in it before you put the new solution in. But I usually go for bottles, because there's usually close to 16 ounces. Mine's 16.9 ounces, as you can see. I just don't fill it all the way up. So we're going to go ahead and go for a 16 ounce, which means that instead of a 1/4 of a teaspoon, we're going to be using a 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. So let's go ahead and get ready for the mixture. Now, the first thing that you ever want to do before you touch your piercing is to wash your hands. Now, you want to make sure that you wash them thoroughly. You want to use antibacterial soap. and just ensure that there is no bacteria, there is absolutely nothing that could infect your belly button ring before you touch it, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the distilled water that we have and our empty water bottle, or you can just start off with a water bottle that's already full. But I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up to as close as 16 ounces as I can get. My bottle that I have right now is 16.9 ounces. So what you're going to notice is that even though I'm filling it up, I'm not going to fill it all the way to the very tippy top. And that's what I'm showing you right here. You can see that I left some space off at the top so that we're closer to 16 ounces than 16.9. And then what we're going to do after this is go ahead and measure our salt. Remember, it's 1/4 of a teaspoon, not tablespoon, it's for every 8 ounces. So we're going to go ahead and we're measuring 14 for the whole entire bottle. And what we're going to do is put the salt in the bottle. Now I'm going to use a funnel, as you can see. You don't necessarily have to do that. That's my own choice. I just prefer to. I just cut up a piece of paper and I'm going to use it to dump my salt in. And as you can see, the salt's in the bottle. Of course, this water is cold, so the salt is not going to dissolve as much as in warm water. I'm going to go ahead and close the bottle, and I'm going to shake the contents to distribute the salt throughout the water. And then that shot glass that you saw earlier, we're going to pour water inside of it. Now you can just pour half of this, or fill it about halfway if you want. I'm going to fill it a little below the whole entire way. And then we're going to just stick it in the microwave for 10 seconds to warm it up. You don't want it hot because you don't want anything hot touching your piercing. So we're going to just make sure that it's warm. You don't want it to be hot. So then we're going to go ahead and take it out. And to put it on your piercing, all you have to do is put the cup around where the piercing is and bend over, making sure that you're covering the whole entire piercing. And then what we're going to do is find a place to lay down. It can be the floor, it can be your bed, it can be anywhere, just to make sure that you're laying down flat so that the water is covering all of your belly button. As you can see, I let some of my water escape. Usually when you do it, it gets airtight, so you don't even have to hold it. It is airtight right now, that's why I'm not holding it. You can see I'm even poking it and it's not moving. But I let some of the water out when I was walking earlier. Usually I lay down right after, but just make sure you soak it for about, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes. You don't want to do less than 5. You don't want to do a lot more than 10. More is not always better. So you just want to make sure that you're soaking that twice a day. Try to get at least 10 hours apart or something like that, something close to that. Don't soak it twice a day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and then at 7 o'clock at night. Try to get a little more in between than that. But that's basically it.